My name is Ayanda Khininda. I am doing my third year in environmental sciences in the Sisulu University. It's why South Africa is such a special place to study at system science. When you speak of South Africa, you speak of a country that has got two coastlines that are different from each other. On the eastern side, we've got the Indian Ocean, and on the western side, we've got the Atlantic Ocean. These two oceans, respectively, they contribute to the climate of South Africa. When we speak of climate variability that is evident in South Africa, it is largely attributed to the presence of these two coastlines. So variability is brought, climate variability is brought by the presence of these two coastlines in South Africa. Also, the presence of these two coastlines affects the presence of biodiversity, life forms that are present in South Africa. When we speak of the eastern side, you know that it is the wetter side, and when we speak of the western side, it is the drier side, and that is all attributed to the presence of these two coastlines, which is the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. Now, diversity, species diversity is something that is very much common in South Africa. And when you speak of species diversity, you're speaking of a country that has got such a huge diversity. From, if you were to make an example, you would start from looking at the coast of South Africa, looking from Port Shepstone up until you get to Cape Town, looking at the biodiversity of the country, and even go up to the Table Mountain. That is how diverse South Africa is in terms of biodiversity and the different species, the variance in terms of the species that are present in the country. But all that, it is attributed to the presence of these two coastlines, which is the warmer eastern side and the colder western side. Also, when looking at the presence of these two ocean coastlines, you would also look at that they do present or give South African scholars their researching abilities or researching options, diversity in terms of researching. As a South African, you are not confined into researching on the drier side of South Africa, but you can as well choose to go to the eastern side and see the type of species that are there because of the environmental settings that are presented, because of the presence of the Indian Ocean, or the influence of the Indian Ocean on the climatic and also the biological processes on that side. Also, when we speak of South Africa, it is a country that has got resources, resources that have not yet been utilized. Titanium is a very good example of that. That has not yet been utilized. You will know that in the past 200 years, South Africa has been mining coal, platinum, gold, and diamond. But titanium is one resource that has just been explored in the wild coast of South Africa, respectively in Port St. John's and in Bizana. And also, in mentioning Bizana, Bizana also brings another important aspect of South Africa, which is the religious point of view of South Africans. We are one country that has not utilized some of its resources because of the views, the religious views of the people. Because of the religious views of the people. Also, this is the case that was evident in Kolobini, where the people denied mining activity to be continued. Also, we have a political setting, such an interesting politics in South Africa. The politics of South Africa may as well give that political direction in the African continent. Also, we've got people in terms of poverty. Poverty is such a huge thing in South Africa. Also, you need to consider that. So, Earth system science is a study that can be effectively that can be easily studied in South Africa because of the presence of these things that I have mentioned. Also, we can mention that South Africa is a country with such a huge potential. We have recently hosted the COP17, which is something that gives political direction in the countries.